Welcome to the Hope for Parents with Struggling Teens podcast. I'm Brandon Jaffe. Join us as we explore relationship and mental health issues by weeding out the trends in the mental health industry to uncover what truly works in improving our emotional well-being and relationships. At Inspired Resolutions Counseling, we specialize in providing interventions and resources for families with teens, focusing on topics such as teen mental health, parenting challenges, and family dynamics.
For those of you who are listening, once again, I appreciate you. And today I want to talk about purpose. I think that the concept of purpose is something that we professionals are not focusing on enough. We are not holding our clients who are really struggling accountable. I think sometimes out of fear. But having purpose is a vital part of mental health. And I know that when you're feeling severely depressed or severely emotional, that having purpose might be the last thing on your mind, but it is a vital piece to some of the building blocks and foundations that we build so that we can maintain good mental health and so that we can overcome issues in mental health. And so I was working with a client this week, and the conversation got around to purpose. And this particular client, when they came to me, was really struggling. She didn't have any hope. The depression, the angst was really profound and severe. I've been working with her for several years, and when I think back to when she first came compared to today, she looks, seems totally different. Everything about her is different, even though the essence of her is still there. When she came in, a lot of the mentality, the dress, the demeanor was, I don't care. I just take me or leave me. Just kind of this really almost negative vibe that was disguised as positive, and the I don't cares were definitely a mask. This recent session, I was commenting on the changes I saw. I commented on the demeanor and some of the more positive speak, and that led into a conversation about how she had found purpose in work. She found purpose in family and had found purpose in a relationship that she's in, one of the first healthy relationships that she is in. As we kind of thought back on her journey, what she came to realize and process is that very early on, it started small, that she had to find purpose in taking care of, and a lot of people will talk about the idea of plants and recovery. And so, but it was true. She got really into growing plants and taking care of plants and into taking care of various animals. Those were small little pieces of purpose. It wasn't changing the world, but it helped her create this feeling of there's something to look forward to. There's something that I need to complete tomorrow. As she progressed, I can remember it got into going outside more. It got into almost being less self-focused than she had been for a very long time. She started getting energy and filling herself, so to speak, by focusing on other things, other people, and projects that she had. Her climbing out of the hole of depression and anxiety that was debilitating her literally started with little tiny projects. Little tiny reasons to complete something tomorrow. And I think that was really important. And now what's cool is our discussions are about looking for ways to network, get into the community. She's got a job now that she's really proud of and excited for. And again, I can see the assessment of where she's at can really be tracked to, well, what purpose is she seeking out in her life? And what roles is she trying to play in other people's lives? And now she's gone from having no motivation to think about the future to lots of future-focused conversations. So I used the term fill her up, and there's this trend about filling yourself up, right? We constantly see posts and people talking about filling yourself up and feeling good. And don't create stress, and stay away from anxious things if you're feeling down. And actually, when I follow some of these cases where people have significantly changed their lives. And part of that, again, it's not all of it, but piece of the building blocks has been purposefully seeking out purpose. What I see is that when they stop constantly trying to do things that feel good right now, when they stop avoiding stress, when they stop thinking that all anxiety is bad, they're able to almost break through this wall and become more tolerant in small little ways that lead to opportunities for finding purpose. And I think that's really important to understand. Finding purpose is not about some imagination about what your passion is or something like that. It's just simple little steps of connecting with people, connecting with the world, connecting with the outside, and then seeing where you fit in and creating connections where opportunities for purpose come up. And so a lot of people want to do what they want to do when they want to do it, but that doesn't lead to that healthy, purpose-driven life, because leading a purpose-driven life is really about seeing in your immediate community, family, whatever it might be, what needs to be done. Where do I fit? Where do my talents and gifts lie where I can provide? Purpose is about creating, producing, helping, and providing. Okay, and I'm going to say that again. Finding purpose is about creating, producing, helping, and providing. Those things don't always fit with what you want. Finding purpose is not just about yourself. It's about the roles you play in your family, in your community, in your relationships, and paying attention to that. And it's a skill. You don't just have roles in your life that you're really, really good at. There's got to be a beginning to it. Sometimes as you develop this purpose, you're getting better at certain skills. You have an opportunity and you don't know how to fulfill that need. And that's a part of the grind. That's a part of the healthy distraction. We're so focused in mental health on distractions being things like playing music, reading a book that you like, learning to play the guitar. And those things are good, don't get me wrong. But a lot of distractions that help you out of the mental health holes are rigorous, difficult, uncomfortable things that lead to contentment because you feel needed. And so we constantly in this day and age talk about self-care. And I'm glad, because we used to not think that it was a thing. And I grew up in an age where self-care slowly became more and more important. And I never want that to go away. But what we talk about constantly is self-care now, instead of a balance of talking about self-care and caring for others. When you care for others while taking care of yourself, when you are provided opportunities to care for others, you will be more likely to overcome some of the mental health issues that you are having. Now, again, these are pieces of the puzzle, not the entire puzzle. So I don't want anybody to think that I think finding purpose, making these connections is the end all be all. You'll be fine after that. That's not what I'm saying. This is one building block. This is a piece of the puzzle, and it's an important piece of the puzzle. We right now can all acknowledge that there is more mental health issues. There are more people who feel down, and it's kind of wild, right? Because we live in an age where information's at our fingertips. It's easy to find things to make ourselves feel good. We're more comfortable than ever. We have technology that is just astounding. And even during the worst economic seasons right now, we have a lot. But mental health issues are skyrocketing, which is interesting. And I think that the young generations, they've been taught and told to focus on feeling good, as though feeling good equates to healthy mental health. And the goal in people's lives are to acquire as much as possible without working hard, without suffering. It is considered bad now to do work without getting a benefit or getting paid. And I'm not saying that people should work for free, but there's a lot of work that has to be done that falls flat. If you're a business owner, you know that. You do a whole lot of work and then it doesn't work out and you have to shift gears and try something else, and none of that leads to money. And so all of that, to me, is about purpose. Today, my purpose might be to grow my company. Today, my purpose might be to take care of the vegetable garden. We shouldn't always be focused on feeling good, because sometimes in the pursuit of fulfilling a purpose, you're going to feel really bad. You're going to get exhausted. You might get hurt. You might get hurt physically. You might get hurt emotionally. Just because you sacrifice, just because you have a moment of not feeling good doesn't mean that overall you're not building mental health, not building that contentment that you should be seeking. Finding purpose means sacrificing the search for instant gratification. It means focusing on what is needed from you and not just what you want to provide or do because it's easy for you. It means being filled while filling others, filling yourself up while filling others up. It's sometimes a hard balance because we have people out there who just give, and they don't practice any self-care. We have some people who pretend like they do that, but they're not being honest with themselves. And so in this pursuit of purpose and finding roles to play in people's lives, you do need to be honest with yourself, honest about what you have to give in a healthy way. We should always be pushing our tolerance a little bit. We don't want to go so far over it that we cause emotional problems in our lives, but we want to be stretching and growing at all times. When it comes to parenting, I think that this discussion should be an ongoing discussion. I believe that it's good to talk about your various roles in people's lives and discuss the various ways you are living out a purpose-driven life. If you don't discuss it, your kids don't know. Don't assume they're just going to come up with this on their own. And I think that it's important to discuss ways that your children can find little tiny purposes to big purpose. And just because your child's suffering right now or having a crisis doesn't mean that you can't begin this conversation and more importantly, model a purpose-driven life. Remember, a lot of parenting is all about planting seeds. If you are struggling in your marriage, struggling in family, struggling with your emotions, and then you overcome that, and a part of you overcoming that is discussing various ways that you shift your purpose from instant gratification to filling your life up with purpose. What happens is you model and plant seeds of hope for the future of your child's mental health. Again, living a purpose-driven life is important. I am not saying it's the end-all be-all. I've repeated that several times because I don't want anybody listening to this to think that I am saying, oh, the problem with everybody who's depressed and anxious is that they don't have enough purpose in their life. Okay, this is just one aspect, something for you to chew on, something for you to think about as you or your loved one tries to overcome mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, ADHD. And so there are many ways that therapeutic theories describe or encourage their clients to get distracted. When I say, oh, just get distracted, doesn't feel very psychological and academic. However, a lot of the interventions that we use are about getting distracted. And I think that there's two types of distraction that help. One is the instant gratification that I feel good, I'm distracted because I enjoy this music or I enjoy this activity that I'm doing. That's good. We should keep encouraging that. But the other is I'm distracted because I'm building something. I'm distracted because I'm busy. I'm busy fulfilling a role. I appreciate you listening to this podcast, and I hope that this might be a piece of the puzzle for some of you families out there, for some of you individuals out there who are struggling.
The Hope for Parents with Struggling Teens podcast is an Inspired Resolutions production, hosted by Brandon Jaffe, edited and mixed by Natalie Atkinson, music by Natalie and Sean Atkinson. Inspired Resolutions Counseling is based in Yorba Linda, California. Whether you're interested in joining our group, seeking therapy services, or exploring more of our resources, you can find us on our website, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Inspired Resolutions Counseling.